Welcome to the Cocktail Guru Podcast,
a show about food, drink, and entertainment,
with a tight focus on the good life,
and all things delicious, luxurious, and fun.
I'm Jonathan Pogash, bartender, author, TV personality, and founder of the Cocktail Guru.
And I'm Jeffrey Pogash, wine and spirits professional, author, insatiable collector of culinary ephemera, and so people tell me, an engaging raconteur.
And my dad. Good morning, Dad. It's morning where we are here.
Yeah, it's morning where I am too. So
Okay.
good morning to you.
We're both on Eastern time zone.
Yes, cock-a-doodle-doo.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. I have a warm drink because it's frigid outside. It's cold outside. And I wanted to share that with you. Can I tell you what I have here?
Please do.
I'm
most interested.
Yes, I can tell by your face. We have a hot chocolate with the Chartreuse Elixir Vegetal.
Oh my, which is something I don't even know about.
I know, you don't have it. I showed this to you. You were like, where do I get that? I'm going to take a little sip. Hold on.
Oh, that's delicious. But you know what? Now that you're drinking your hot chocolate with Chartreuse, I'm going to open my bottle. I've been waiting to open this on air. And I'm going to do it because I want the sound effects.
You want the ASMR.
Through. Yes. So I'm twisting off the top.
And bottle cap ASMR. Okay. Wow, that is...
I hope that came through.
A little bit. Not really, but a little bit. You need to make an extra loud sound when you sip it.
I'll be pouring it again. Pardon me?
I said when you sip it.
Oh, I thought you said when you spit. On this I'm not spitting.
No,
I'm
of
drinking.
Course not. No.
So here it is. My Chartreuse vert, green Chartreuse neat.
Okay, let's hear it. Hold on.
Oh my.
Put your mouth close to the microphone, please.
Oh my. The herb. This was bringing back memories like you wouldn't believe. Oh, the herbs. Oh my gosh, this is so complex.
Okay.
And here we go.
Oh, he's taking a sip. Oh, hold on. Listen. That is the sound of him reverse sucking in.
That is so not only herbal, complex in terms of its nose and mouth, but it's rich. The texture is so rich. It's gorgeous.
Okay,
gorgeous.
Speaking of rich, gorgeous texture, we're going to bring in our guest right now because he's a great pal, and he happens to be an expert when it comes to herbal liqueurs, French herbal liqueurs, more specifically, and chartreuse, even more specific than that. I've known Mr. Tim Master for many, many years, and we always run into each other at industry events. And we all ran into each other at Tales of the Cocktail, and we had a nice...
Yes, we did.
We had a nice stroll to one of the portfolio parties. And Tim and my dad, they bonded, I would say. And Tim has taken a shine to my dad, and my dad has taken a shine to Tim. So let's introduce none other than Mr. Tim Master.
Hey.
Yay.
Hi. How you doing?
Welcome, Tim. Tim.
Thank you. I love my ASMR feeling of you opening the bottle just now. Put me in the mode.
Thank you.
In the mood, so. Nice to see you.
I've just gotten started.
Dad has a little bit of an unhealthy obsession with ASMR.
Well, I think I'm into it because that really put me in a nice place just listening. So, hi, both of you. Nice to see you.
Hello, great to see you too. Since Tales, that's the last time
we
saw each other, and we had a great time there.
We did,
and we're having a great time now. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and who you are.
Who is Tim Master,
and what you've done in the past.
Sure. Wow. We just jump right into it. I can't wait to hear about your adventure trying to find a bottle of chartreuse, and I think we can talk about that in a moment.
Yes,
because it has some relevance to what's happening in the world of chartreuse now. But I'm Tim. Hi. So yes, I I've been with Chartreuse for a little over 10 years now. That's really great run rate. And it's been a magical ride because each year I learn more and more about not just the liqueur, but the monks behind the liqueur who make it. And with 1,000 years of history, each year I'm with Chartreuse, I find out more and more and more, not just from facts because we don't know what's in it, but just from a spiritual side to a lifestyle side and a purpose. So
come on, Tim, you know what's in it. You're going to tell us.
yeah, at some point, I'll join your dad for one drink and I'll tell you one herb.
Well,
I think I can tell you one herb.
One herb.
But wait a sec. Only 3 of the fathers know the recipe.
That's right.
Correct.
Sort of. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They know it. One works on one part of it, the other works on another part. So there's truth to that. And it's been great ride. So that's 10 years. And then prior to that, I was with Plymouth Gin over with some guys that we know, Jamie Gordon and Simon Ford and a couple other friends. And prior to that, like so many people in this side of the business now, in our distribution side, I was a bartender for 15, 20 years. And it was a great ride, and it was a natural progression because one of my favorite things, and I hear it from every bartender I meet, that for the majority of bartenders love the business because of the people, hospitality, serving the people. I used to say if a guest comes into my bar and they're looking to have an enjoyable time and I can enhance that time, that's what got me going. It was those little moments. So as I've learned and dove into the Chartreuse side and learning about the mission of the monks who own the brand, and as some of their mission statement, 2 of 4 mission statements being different, being authentic, but their mission is to share. So share what they have. And that's kind of a bartender sharing, their secrets, their knowledge with the guest, and serving. They serve God, we serve our guests. So I love the bridge that it's.
I serve our guests and God.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yes. Yes. I feel the same way.
The Lord, our
we are
Savior.
always serving God.
We are we were just talking about this during pre-show. We are 3 Jews.
That's right.
Talking about Catholic spirit.
Yes. And a question I've always wanted to ask you, Tim, do you get to interact with the monks?
I have. And in fact, I've asked the question, do you mind that a Jewish person is working and stewarding your brand? And
what if they said, you're Jewish? Yes, we actually do mind.
I think I'd have to have a bigger conversation, but it wasn't. It was received with open arms. And he started telling me all about the Jewish religion, way more than I even knew. I mean, they have a lot of time to read. So
they do have time to read. Yes.
Well, they need to know the history of religion, and that began with Judaism. So
that's exactly right.
They know a lot more than we do, I'm sure.
They do.
And Tim, when you were a young one, bartending, where was that? And what sort of place was that?
So this is before fine ice, fresh juice. I did most of my. I started bartending in London, in a bar called Los Locos, where the shots du jour were the Screaming Orgasm, the B-52s, but lots of hospitality there. Came back to New York with a brief stint in New York, and then most of my time was done in Philadelphia, where I'm from. And that
you did some time in Philly.
I did some time in Philly. That was the majority, and it was fine dining. I worked a good amount of my time in the trendy vodka bar called Sonoma, and then finished my time with Steven Starr at a place called the Striped Bass. So, so it was great. I mean, I learned about wine, and I even made my own drink. And don't ask me the specs, but you could tell the error of when I bartended because my drink was called the Tintini.
Oh, that is so
Uh,
original,
Thank you.
Tim. That is so
That
original.
was my email address too for a
What was
while.
in the Timtini at AOL.com?
Probably right. Exactly. Hotmail or something like that.
At excite.com?
Yeah, and I'm not. I can't
Um,
tell you what was in it because I don't remember. It might have been
oh,
absolute citron and mandarin because I wanted those two flavors together, and then just a bunch of different.
oh,
Yeah, it
sure.
was a
Wait,
rip on
hold
a
on.
Cosmo. Thank you, Toby.
Hold for ASMR. I can barely hear it. Oh, there we go. That's
over
nice.
Jeff,
ice. This is over
how
ice.
is that? Is that Are you seeing a lot of like Christmas spices in this bottle, like flavor
Oh
wise?
yeah. Oh yeah. And the nose and the absolutely Christmas year-round
Yeah,
spice. Yes. Floral, the herbal qualities, incredible. I
But
mean,
do
if
you say that because it's a different formula?
it's not. Well, I don't know if it's a different formula. I know the recipe hasn't changed, but I did ask that question because the past year or two, Chartreuse Neat has been drinking like even more fabulous than it was in the past. You know, they moved
yeah, yes,
to a distillery in 2018, a new
yes,
distillery.
right.
Um,
Is that Egg
it
Noir?
was Egg Noir.
The
That's
Egg
Egg
Noir
Noir,
distillery?
Black
Yeah,
Swamp
yeah,
is what the
yes.
meaning of it. And everything has been updated. The stills, versus their stills from 40, that were going the same stills for 80 years. There's brand new stills. Their aging facility, they're honing in on how their cellars are, which is just, chartreuse ages for, I don't know, 3, 5, 6 years until it's ready. But they move it from
Mm,
still to still. They start off in a 50,000 liter vat. And on one side of the cellar, which is just so cool, is dry. But on the other side of the cellar, they allow a little bit of moisture in through the walls because it's built into the mountain. So they'll move it there to introduce some moisture for the aging, and it's just fabulous. So they've really been
mm.
honing in on the flavor, and I think if I could just ramble for a second,
Yes,
it,
please.
it took you a bit of time to find a bottle, right?
Oh, it took me a lot of time to find a bottle because I knew ahead of time there was a Chartreuse
That's right.
shortage. I knew that. So I went to my large neighborhood shop
Yeah.
and I figured, oh, they'll definitely have it because they have everything. Well, they didn't have
Mm.
it. Then I went to another large these are specialty stores, of course, wine and spirit specialty shops, and they had it. I saw Chartreuse about not knowing that we were going to interview you a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or so. I saw a bottle and I didn't buy it, but I knew it was there. And I said to Jonathan, "Oh, I know where I can find it. I'll go there, go to da da da, and I'll find it." And I went, and lo and behold, they're out of it. Out of it. Don't know when they can get it. They're
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
it. So I went to another. I went to two other local stores, thinking, well, maybe a small liquor store might have it because they probably don't sell as much as the other stores, and they didn't have it. Then finally I went to my former neighborhood wine and spirit shop in a town called Maplewood, New Jersey, where I was born and raised. And I walked inside. It's a lovely shop, recently redone, very beautifully organized. And I went to the liqueur section of the shop, and guess what I found? I found
What,
this
dude?
beautiful bottle. It was a sight for sore eyes. This bottle of green Chartreuse. They didn't have yellow. All they had was green Chartreuse, which was fine with me because that's what we wanted.
Mm.
How many bottles did they have there?
I think I'm going to go back and buy some more. They had a few bottles. They had a
It's been
few.
very interesting. What's been happening. A little frustrating to the chartreuse lovers. Certainly frustrating to
Mm-hmm.
the bartenders who use it in their cocktail programs.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting nonetheless of the rationale, the reason behind it. The monks over COVID, we expected because we are the bartender brand, or we're at least friendly with the bartenders and who have made and built this brand. Thank them. Thank you. Thank all.
Mm-hmm.
We anticipated when the bars and restaurants shut that we would also go down. And surprisingly, all the beautiful work that our friends in the bar community have done, and even the sommeliers, people were drinking it at home, making cocktails at home. So we saw a bit of a spike. And at this point, the monks were growing a little too fast. And they said, wait a minute, whoa, we're just monks. We have a focus on living in, solitude, prayer, dedicating our life to God. We are not distillers primarily. So they've made a decision to limit the amount that they will make year after year. They've done that not only because they had a focus on their primary goal, which is, pray for us, pray for the world, but they also said, you know what? Let's do less and do it great. That's why it's been drinking so perfectly. They also felt if we're going to grow with demand, we're going to be, harvesting more from the earth, and that has a negative impact on the planet, which they also is not in their best interest because they don't plan for 3 to 5 years, they plan for 300 to 500 years. So they've made that decision, and then they finally said, okay, but you're not going to raise the price that much more, which is making it accessible to all of us. So it's a wonderful sentiment on their part, but a challenge for us. And one of the reasons why I like seeing you, Jeff, drink that neat and straight, because you know what? There's such a beauty to drinking it like that.
It's fabulous. But you know what? I now have it over ice with tonic, as suggested
by
in the literature. In the literature, and the flavor of the Chartreuse is just coming right through the ice and the tonic. You can't stop it. It's just there.
Hold that thought, Dad. I'm going to stop you for a second. We're going to take a quick break and be right back.
Hey everyone, Jonathan here. If you're into swag as much as we are, then look no further than our Cocktail Guru shop. The items in our store have been personally chosen, handpicked with care by me, I'm Jonathan, and my team of Cocktail Gurus. A water bottle with a stainless steel straw? Yep. T-shirts? Hoodies? Snapback hats, signed copies of Mr. Boston Bartender's Guide, cocktail box kits, bar tools, and more. You betcha. We've even managed to create a onesie for that mocktail lover in your family. So head on over to shop.thecocktailguru.com and use code GURU23 for 10% off your first order. Great deal. That's shop.thecocktailguru.com, 10% off with code GURU23. Cheers.
And now we're back. Please continue, Dad.
You can stop me, but you can't stop Chartreuse.
Oh,
that's for sure. Oh yeah, this flavor is just breaking right through, and it's just so beautifully herbal. I wish I could pick them out. I don't know. I'm thinking garden herbs, but I know this goes way beyond garden herbs. And also, I'm thinking, even though it may or may not be in there, I'm thinking because of the mountains, the Chartreuse mountains. Their pre-Alp mountains. I'm thinking Edelweiss. Yes, that's what it makes me think of. Beautiful flowers and herbs growing in the mountains.
Tim Master, what do we know is in Chartreuse?
We know that there's 130 herbs and spices and flowers. So I would say if you can start guessing 130, I'm sure many of what you're going to guess will be in there.
I was thinking basil might be one of the things in there.
It's a tough. I would think so. I would think there's rosemary, there's cinnamon. I would think there's
maybe tarragon.
Yeah.
Also.
Tarragon, gentian.
The neat part of green, and then it's comrade or is the yellow is the yellow chartreuse is also there. Both having the same herbs and spices, which I think is fabulous. Just green is more vegetal driven, where yellow is, there you go, Jonathan. Holding that.
Oh, Jonathan, you have the yellow.
I have a full collection because...
What year is that?
This one?
So if you see under
which distillery is it from?
There's first question.
Look at the bottom left. Or just the bottom of the label.
Yeah, it's from Voiron.
Yeah, Voiron.
So
that's different. That's the distillery before Aigle Noir.
All of mine are from the era of when I went to visit.
So if you look on the cap and you see the little
Yes.
gold top on the cap. There should be some numbers, L something or other, maybe L9. Can you see them? Right under the
Numbers.
word chartreuse.
Oh yes,
Oh.
L926034.
926.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Jeff, what is yours?
Oh, wait a second. On the top of the cap?
No, under here.
No.
Where?
Right under the word chartreuse on the gold band.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah.
What is that?
L937258.
So this is exciting. You two, father, son.
Okay.
Oh, so
Okay, yes.
we all have heard, if you love chartreuse, that it
Yes.
changes in the bottle, it ages in the bottle.
Yeah.
Some say,
absolutely.
I loved saying green ages like a cool rock star, where yellow ages like a nice jazz musician. It's like, kind of Keith Richards and Miles Davis. But very cool way. Each time, it's always drinking differently. So you can tell and lock this in your calculators, everyone. So if you take
Yes.
1084, which is the year the monks were ordained,
Right.
and you add those first three numbers. So Jeff, you said 937. So 1084 plus 937, you're drinking a 2021 vintage, which is kind of
okay,
cool from
right.
Ag Noir. Where Jonathan, you said 926 plus that 1084.
Yes, my yellow one is 926.
You, my friend, have a 2010 in front of you, which
Whoa.
is kind of old. It's kind of cool.
And then my green is 925. So that's a 2009.
Yeah, so you've got some oldies.
I got some oldies. What about this?
You're holding up the 9 Centenar.
Yes.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
So the fun part is once you start getting into the different cuvées, over in France, they make about 5,000 cases of several different types. What Jonathan was just holding up, the 9 Centenar, it's kind of a blend of everything, green and yellow. It's a blend of many different barrels. They started making that in 1984 and only a handful of bottles a year. So kind of to commemorate the monks 1084, that number.
Gee, I thought the only specialty product was the VEP.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Hold on a second. I have one that's 922.
Whoa! Oh my God, you've got some
older.
oldies. I'm curious to know how they
both.
That doesn't mean they're going to be great, though. It's just going to mean they're interesting. 922.
No, it's interesting because it is going to be different. It's from different distilleries.
922 is 2006, right?
That's it.
Even though the process is the same, I know from my experience in Scotch whiskey and other products that once you change distilleries, the product, it's not going to be exactly the same. It's going to be just as good, but it could be even more interesting than from past distilleries, just because of the way the equipment works.
I mean, I think you just nailed it, because how you're just, it's such a complex spirit anyway that I love.
Yeah.
I love chartreuse in a cocktail. It adds the flavors you need, a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yes.
The salt and the pepper of a cocktail. It's just lovely.
Yeah.
But the complexity of it can stand up to a chartreuse and soda, a chartreuse and tonic, or even more so, just straight.
Oh, yeah.
And it always is changing. Same with that vegetal you just had there, Jonathan.
Oh, yes. Can you tell us a little bit about the vegetal?
Yeah. So the vegetal in France called the Elixir de Vegetal de la Grande Chartreuse, or that's the original recipe of chartreuse. So in 1605, the monks were given this manuscript. And it was more, we all know it was historically medicinal reasons people drank. So this little bottle that you're holding, which is 100 milliliters, it's 69% ABV. I mean, the bottle you have 71, but 69% ABV. And it took 135 years to decipher the recipe. That's a long R&D. So.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah. So this is a condensed version, basically, of the chartreuse. And the great news is it's finally in the United States.
It's here. It's in the U.S.
It's just...
Yeah, I want that. Where did you get that, Jonathan?
I got it in France.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I'll have to go to France. We've been wanting to go anyway. So.
Slowly,
But
Jeff, it'll be out there in the stores, in your store in Maplewood and beyond.
good. Well, I did want to say that my experience with Chartreuse really started. It started with VEP.
Oh, wow.
It really did. And VEP stands for Vieillissement Exceptionnellement Prolongé. Very complex, very long aging process. Exceptionally long aging process is the translation. Prolonged aging. And it was thanks to a guy. I'm telling this story because Jonathan thought it was interesting enough for me to tell.
I gave him permission to tell the story.
A friend of mine, someone who I didn't know, who became a friend of mine because I was an editor for a wine magazine and I was writing articles, and he subscribed to that magazine. And he was a collector of great wines and spirits as well, but mostly wines. Domaine de la Romanée-Conti and La Mission Aubryon, and he put together these incredible vertical tastings of these wines and invited the owners of the properties and the chateaus to come and stay at his house and oversee tastings with wines from his cellar. And he would invite his closest friends. I became one of his closest friends, fortunately, because I was a writer and an editor of a magazine. And after every exceptional tasting, we had a beautiful dinner that his wife, Lita, created. His name was Dr. Alvin Melzer. He was an endodontist, great collector of wines and spirits. After the fabulous dinner from his wife, Lita, he would serve at the end of the meal Chartreuse. At the beginning of the meal, as the aperitif after the tasting, we had Krug champagne in magnums, always Krug champagne in magnums.
Of course,
always. And then after dinner, he served Chartreuse VEP, vert et jaune, green and yellow. He had both. And he had regular Chartreuse on the table as well, but he really wanted everyone to have the VEP. And he would ask anyone who wanted it. He was generous, and he would say, who would like a glass? And if you said yes, he would take the glass and put it on a cradle with a candle underneath, and he would warm the glass using the candle.
Wow.
And that's how he served Chartreuse VEP. And that was not my first experience, because I had Chartreuse when I was living in Paris. I had it a little bit here and there, but my profound experience was with Dr. Alvin Melzer when he served VEP and explained to us what Chartreuse was all about. And that was my background. And also after that, oddly enough, I was hired by an importing company that was the importer for Chartreuse.
21 brands?
From the 1940s to 1969, Schefflin and Company was the importer, and I was hired by Schefflin in Somerset much later in 1993. But there were still some bottles of Chartreuse lying around.
Amazing.
in the office.
Amazing story.
So that was my experience.
I mean, you jumped right into the Maserati when you learned to drive.
I did.
And,
Yes.
VEP. I know. It was incredible.
And I had an amazing experience with you, Mr. Tim Master, in France. I guess that was probably 2016, maybe.
Yeah, when you got the bottles.
Apparently. Oh, yes, it's when I got the bottle. Yeah, 2016. And did we? I don't think we went to the distillery because you were probably in in transition, moving distilleries, right?
No, you went to the Varon distillery.
Oh yes,
which was in Varon, right? And then we went up to the monastery with your group that you brought, and they were such a good group.
That's right. Yes. And oh my gosh.
We didn't go in the monastery because you're not allowed, but we walked all around and saw the remote location that where they live, and just puts things into perspective. Like, wow, these monks they're not marketers; they're just trying to do their thing.
Right, and I did see one or two, and then I tried to get the recipe out of one of them. In fact, no, not actually one of them, but in the little museum, the little Chartreuse museum, there is a a statue of a monk, and there is a photograph of me going up to the monk and trying to get the recipe out of him.
I have this picture. You jump behind the display. I remember this.
Is that? I broke the rule.
You
And I
broke the
jumped.
rule.
Yes,
He didn't tell you though what was in it because he was just a statue, but it was really great.
he's just a
But
statue.
he was silent.
Yes,
That's right.
he was.
Yeah.
It's the vow of silence. Yes.
It's an amazing brand, and I'm excited to see them continue. I mean, the limitation that they're giving us is still a lot of product. It's not going to be 4 bottles. We're still going to have enough.
How much of it is being produced, and how much do we have in the U.S.?
Well, let's just say we're getting about 10% less than what we did last year and the year before, which
Okay.
on the grand scheme of things, we're a small brand. You know what I mean? We're not ever going to be huge, absolute vodka. Nothing. We're not larger. We're just a small brand, but we will be. Once we get the ship humming, we should be able to satisfy our bars and restaurants. Just takes a minute. But the beauty is that there's so much you can do with chartreuse beyond just a cocktail. Cook with it. The elixirs coming in, or the vegetals coming in, and we shouldn't see any issue with that. So you can still have the fun and the flavor of this brand. You know what I mean? And if you're stuck on a desert island, there should be a chartreuse for those who want to have their last. What's the question you always ask? What's your drink?
Damn it! We didn't ask you that question.
I was prepared.
See, oh my gosh. Mr. Tim Master has listened to our show, and he is calling us out right now on something that we forgot to ask him because we just jumped right into the conversation.
Because we know the answer.
We know the answer, but we'll go through the steps. Mr. Tim Master, if you were stranded on a desert island, what would be your drink of choice?
I wasn't prepared for you to ask this question.
Clearly.
Well, I have an answer for that. Honestly, aside from having just a beer, a nice refreshing beer, and what I should say as a brand guy is the Chartreuse Swizzle, which is so lovely.
Yeah.
But
Marco Dionysus.
Marco Dionysus. Chartreuse, falernum, lime, pineapple. But the drink that if you've drank with me and it is just my go-to, is the Alaska cocktail. And I just love that drink because
yellow chartreuse.
Yellow chartreuse. And I'm a gin fan, and no matter what gin, every time you change that gin, the drink completely changes, and it's just because maybe the versatility or the wackiness of the flavors of yellow chartreuse. You blend that with a New World gin versus a London Dry versus a Geneva. I mean, anything, and you just have a completely different drink every time. So it's really fantastic.
I love it.
So I didn't prepare that at all, but I did.
No, not clearly not at all.
Sounds wonderful. Sounds delicious. I bet honey would work well with chartreuse. I'm just guessing.
There is honey and I will tell you that in yellow chartreuse, distilled honey.
Oh, seriously?
Distilled honey.
I had no idea.
There you are.
And is the base spirit sugar beet?
The green base spirit is sugar beet. The yellow is grape.
Wow.
And the yellow recently made a jump from 40% ABV to 43% ABV, which really turns makes that yellow a great sipping spirit alone. So.
Ooh, gentian. I'm getting gentian out of
definitely.
this.
So I remember when we went to the facility, when we went to the distillery, there are bags of the dried herbs, or was it bags of them, but unlabeled, because we are not allowed to know what is in them, right?
Yeah,
that is right.
Sorry, that is right. That, absolutely, and since we're all here, and this is a fun fact, when everybody says, "Well, chartreuse," it's just neat. Chartreuse is made by 2 monks, and one knows half the recipe, the other knows the other. They don't drive in the same cars, There is some truth to them traveling separately. But what's really and yes, all the magic and the secrecy happens by the monks in the monastery. That's where those unmarked bags that you saw are blended. The neat thing about the community that wants to help the monks is once those bags are filled, those bags are sent to the new distillery, Agnew Noir, where the lame people, the local people will help the process from there. They'll watch, they'll put it in the stills, they'll help the maceration with the oversight of the monks. But there is a team that helps them, but still they don't know what they're putting into the maceration. They just know bag one goes here, bag three goes
They could
there.
guess. I mean, they could guess. They could see what it looks like, and then they could say, "Oh, that's some star anise. That's yeah."
So, is there a non-monk who is a distillery manager?
Yes, his name is
there?
Bertrand. He is. He looks at. He's the number one of the lay folks who kind of keep his eye on the technical side of things. And what I love, because I used to go there all the time and say, "What's in it? What's in it?" I wanted to know, just curiosity. And it's something, and the answer is like an emoji when you raise your hands and you shrug your shoulders. I don't know. That's kind of. I've kind of come to the conclusion.
It's this. I'm doing it.
That's it.
It's je ne sais pas. Je ne sais pas.
But I've come to the conclusion that it's not my business anymore. That is their secret. And I will just accept. I mean, it is my business, but it's not. I don't want to know anymore.
Tim, it's literally your business.
Good point. Yeah.
No, I know what you mean, though. Yeah, I know what you mean. Because
but it's the final product.
They're doing their thing, and they're putting out an amazing product that's been around for centuries, for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it really is a great product. And Tim Master's a great person and a great friend, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you, Tim.
It's been green.
And I think we've only scratched the surface. I feel like we should be saying so much more.
I know. Dad that's his favorite expression. We've only scratched the surface.
Yes.
That should be the name. Maybe we should call our podcast Just Scratching the Surface.
Fantastic.
Instead of the Cocktail Guru podcast. I don't know.
So there's more to come with Mr. Tim Master. I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure.
But we'll see you in France. We should go whenever the next trip is. Please do let us know.
Done. Great to talk to you both.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing this beautiful Chartreuse with us. It's incredible.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Tipple Time is brought to you in part by Monin Strawberry Rose and Marie Brizard.
Tipple Time is upon us once again, folks. Thank you for listening and watching to the Cocktail Guru podcast. I'm Jonathan, of course. I'm going to make a flip, which is a centuries-old cocktail that includes a full-on egg in the cocktail. It's really nice and wintry, very festive, and I'd love to just start off and make it for you right now. I'm going to start with Marie Brizard Chocolate Royale, and Marie Brizard actually was the very first French woman to become a liqueur maker, which is really cool, and they make these delicious flavored syrups. We're going to add 1.5 ounces into our mixing glass. Now this is kind of a little lower in alcohol, so it's a low ABV cocktail, as they say in the biz. And after that Marie Brizard Chocolate Royale, we'll take the Monin Strawberry Rose. Now this is delicious. It's actually strawberry and subtle rose flavors, which works really well in dessert cocktails, but also spritzes. Oh man, these folks at Monin make these really great products. And we're going to do 1 ounce in our mixing glass, just like that. Ah, it smells so good. And now for the flip part, and it's a whole egg, which will go right into our glass, just like that. And we're going to do the double shake method. Right, we're going to dry shake first, which means shaking without ice, and that's just going to kind of emulsify everything, froth everything together. There we go. Make sure that this seal is very tight, because when things start to froth up, that seal might start to break loose a little bit. Things might start flowing out. And now I'm going to add 2 big ice cubes, which are actually right down here in my freezer. Hold on one second, guys. Look at that. 2 big ice cubes. Add that. Ooh. Okay. We'll shake. And of course, the longer you shake, the more emulsified and frothy this drink will be. But we don't really have a minute to shake, so I'm just going to shake for a few more seconds here. Oh yeah, you get a really nice arm workout. Ooh, I'm taking a little peek inside the mixing glass, and we'll use a nice cocktail coupe right over here. Oh, look at that. It's basically like a nice adult chocolate milkshake. Oh,
may I try that?
Well, hello. Yes, you may. Hold on. It's not garnished. You're like a... This is Chris Almeida, who's running our lights and camera here. And you just went for this drink without even having it garnished, which is what guests do oftentimes at bars, right?
Yeah. I'm the bad guest right now.
You could talk into this microphone.
Oh, hey.
You're the bad guest. Yes.
Guest right now.
And what would you like to garnish this with, Chris?
I think an orange and some nutmeg.
An orange peel and some nutmeg. Okay. So here we go. And we'll squeeze that orange peel over the top, rub it around the rim, discard, yes?
Get rid of that thing.
Get rid of that orange peel and some fresh nutmeg. Good? There you are, my friend.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're very welcome. What do you think? Wow, what a reaction.
Oh, baby.
Oh, God. Guys, that is really good. I can't have any more of that.
It's low BV. It's okay.
It's low ABV. It is okay. Hey, come back over here, Chris. Right. Thank you. Thanks for your help, buddy.
Oh. Great to see you. Great to see you.
Cheers. Oh, that's going to mess up the mic.
Oh, shit.
That's okay. Cheers, everyone, to another Tipple Time.
Tipple Time is brought to you in part by Marie Brizard and Monin Strawberry Rose. That does it for today's show. If you enjoy what we do, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also support the show with a small monthly donation to help sustain future episodes. Just click on the donate button at the top of our website and choose your donation amount. To learn more about our guests, visit www.thecocktailgurupodcast.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok.
The Cocktail Guru podcast is produced by First Reel Entertainment and distributed by EatsDrinksTV, a service of the Center for Culinary Culture, home of the Cocktail Collection, and is available via Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, and wherever you listen to your favorite shows.